we get irritated, frustrated, or angry, in that millisecond, I experience a sense of diminishment. Okay? I'm somehow less than I was before that car pulled out in front of me. So what do I have to do? Well, I got to lift myself back up because I just felt deflated and diminished. So I lift myself back up by being angry. It covers up the diminishment because ego says, don't look at yourself. Don't look at the experience you're having. It's his fault. Project it out, put it on that person. Now I can make that person wrong in my mind. I'm right. Oh, I feel so much better now. Right? And in a nutshell, that's the process we go through every time we're irritated. We feel a slight sense of diminishment. Somehow I'm less than I was a second ago. Think about if someone says something to you and you feel hurt by it. The hurt actually isn't the problem. It's the sense of deflation that I felt a second before hurt came. The hurt is there to rescue me, to cover up the diminishment. So something happens, I feel the diminishment, and I cover it up with hurt, irritation, or frustration. And then that feels so yucky that I got to get rid of it. So the way I get rid of it is I go, it's your fault. If you wouldn't have said blank, I wouldn't be hurt. Or if you wouldn't have pulled out in front of me, I wouldn't be angry. If you'd get your license from somewhere other than a Cracker Jack box, I could just drive along, and we're off and running. Okay? So, 5 words that can change your life. I'm going to give you 10. You get a bonus 5 at the end. 5 words that can change your life. How is it for me? How is it for me? Okay. Remember, I said my experience gives me all the information I need to make lasting change in my life. Well, what composes an experience? My thoughts, my feelings or my emotions, and my physical sensations. Okay? So for example, when I'm sitting at home worrying because the kids are out going to prom or whatever, I can check in. And I can go, how is it for me in this moment when I'm worrying? Check in. What are my physical sensations? 9 times out of 10, my hands are tight. My legs are tight. I'm not sitting in the chair. I'm holding myself up. My buttocks is tight. My heart rate might be up. My breath might be a little shorter than normal. Notice my physical sensations. And what we're doing is we're building a baseline so that I can start to go. So as I went through this process of learning, I started to recognize very quickly that if I'm picking my fingernails, for me that's shame and embarrassment. And I never knew it before, but I'm going back looking at old pictures of me as a child, and I caught a lot of pictures I was doing this, and it had to do with the trauma that I experienced and the shame and I'm not worthy messages through childhood. So what are my physical sensations when I'm angry, when I'm worrying, whatever it is? How is it for me when I'm angry? Check physical. I can also check feelings or emotions. Well, I'm angry. Well, what is anger like for me? Well, it's yucky. Ego tells me anger's good because I'm going to get what I want. But that's ephemeral. It's fleeting. It doesn't last long. And I'm left suffering. Because when I'm mad at that guy who just pulled out in front of me, is he suffering? Probably going about his life, not even thinking about what happened. I'm, because I have to move my foot over to here, right? Course in Miracles words this really well when it says, when you condemn or judge another as wrong, you imprison yourself. And when I read that, it just brought me to tears. I was like, holy cow. And then I start looking at every judgment I make. This thing's wrong. This person's wrong. That cord shouldn't be hanging down like that. There should be a roof over this. This person should be that way. All of those things on the surface, I'm thinking I feel good because I'm right. In the long term, I'm miserable. And I'm the one who's suffering. And here's the cool part. When I condemn that person and I imprison myself, I give them the keys to my peace. They now hold the key. I could be happy if he would stop pulling out in front of me. I could be happy if this person would put the toothpaste cap back on. I could be happy if you would just communicate with me the way I want you to communicate. All of it. Every little thing comes down to that. Okay? So the 5 words are, how is it for me? And this works. Make a little note, put it on your dashboard. How is it for me? Make a little note. Where I love to put them is inside the kitchen cupboards, because I can go unconscious in the kitchen. You know, I'm just working and the brain's going, next thing I know, I'm thinking about that guy that said this thing. Or work. How many people think about work when they're at home? And how people aren't doing what I want, right? Open the kitchen cupboard to get a thing, and right there, how is it for me? Now, even if I don't do the practice, even if I don't check in and go, wow, what's it like right now? I'm tense, I'm thinking about work, I feel angry. Even if I don't do that, seeing the note and just saying to myself, how is it for me? It does this to the world. And it brings me into the present moment. Might only last a second or two, but I'll take that. That's beautiful. I got a moment or two of peace where I'm not angry, holding on, all of that. And then I may or may not choose to follow through and really sit down. Works best if you catch yourself and you got a couple minutes, go and sit down in stillness and really let yourself look in, you know, relive that situation. Go, how is it for me? Okay? So we can try it. We're going to do a little practice real quick here for you. Bring it to mind again, that issue that came up earlier when I asked you think of something. Close your eyes if you want, whatever works for you. Relive that. Let the juice get going, and if it's an anger situation, hold on to it for a second. If it's a worry situation, just bring your attention to that item or that issue. Replay it in your head. Let yourself feel whatever comes with it. And then do a scan. What's my experience? How is it for me right now when I'm reliving this? Are you breathing? Are your legs relaxed? Are your arms tight? Don't change anything, just notice. Are my shoulders tight? Am I relaxed in my chair? And the more you do this, the more you'll start to see baselines, okay? How is it for me as I relive this? What am I thinking? What are the thoughts that are in my head right now? He should, they should. You'll notice there's a lot of shoulds in those thoughts. And then what's my emotional state? Or what are my feelings? And put names to them. Hurt, anger, sadness, fear, whatever it may be. Take a deep breath and go back out into the world. And it's that simple. Because the more we look, the more we start to notice, wow, I'm miserable 35, 50 times a day. I don't like that. So I don't have to set out to change who I am. All I have to do is start bringing more and more attention to who I really am. And that alone will make the shift happen. If I recognize I'm miserable 50 times a day, do you think I'm going to continue that? I will start to learn over time. It's like there's no value in me being angry. There's no value in worrying. Does worrying ever change the situation? Worrying ruins my day. I'm the one that's suffering. But I'm suffering out of love because I want my kids to be good, yeah, whatever. If they're going to smash their car, my worrying about it isn't going to change that one bit. But I don't know I'm worrying unless I'm able to bring attention to it. Okay? So how is it for me when I blah, 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 blah? If you want to stay more up in your head, here's the bonus 5 words. You can word it as, what is it in me? What is it in me that won't let this person be who they are? That's a powerful question. Right? Because I always want to go, it's them. It's them. If they would just, if they would just, if they would just. But the bottom line is, it's me. It's always me. What is it in me? What is it in me that gets irritated when so-and-so does this? What is it in me that needs to get somewhere on time? Because we were talking about that earlier. What is it in me, and it's only stuff that I'm holding on to. So I had said earlier to these two women here, we were talking about showing up on time, and I said, you're never late, you just show up when you show up, and it really doesn't matter. And she said, well, it matters to the people who show up on time. Okay, that's good. But that's something to look at. So what is it in me, if I'm uncomfortable with my being late, it's on my mind, I'm holding it, then I can ask myself the question, what is it in me that won't show up on time? What is it in me that won't let me get there on time? Okay? And I looked at that, and for me it was all about being special and being unique, and I didn't want to get there early and all this other stuff. And the beauty of it is, it doesn't matter what the answer is. All I'm doing is bringing awareness to it. And as I bring awareness to it, I realize there's no value in any of this. It's just wasted energy. There's no value in being angry, really. Once I look at how much of my life is wasted being angry, instead of experiencing, I want to experience the peace of God. All the religions in the world tell me that God is in me. And why am I not experiencing that love 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Because I put all this other muck in front of it. You should do this, and you should do that. You should go here, blah, 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 blah. So to summarize and end, it's all about bringing it back to me. It's all about bringing attention and focus, just awareness to who I am. And the more I look, if I've been labeling myself, all right, well, you're a total idiot or whatever. The more I look at my idiotness, the less value I recognize it has. And then you end up just letting it be. But you're no longer beating yourself up for it. And the bottom line is, once I become very, very peaceful with myself, once you become very loving, and it's a self-nurturing thing to do, to look at who you really are. And to recognize that we're all scared. We're all reacting from fear. My anger's based in fear, my worry's based in fear. And once I look at that and really get to a place where I can go, yeah, I'm scared to death every day, and it shows up as anger, frustration, irritation, worry, judgment. Once I can see that, the world's a little bit lighter. I'm a lot more compassionate for myself and for the people around me. And what else can I ask for? And I set out looking for an easy tool, an easy way, and that's what I got. It's all about bring awareness. And then finally, ask for help. Whatever your higher power is, if it's God, the Holy Spirit, AA, a tree, I don't care, nature, but ask for help, because that's part of a process of saying, I'm not the center of the universe. And when I'm on my pedestal going, everybody orchestrating everything, I'm the center of the universe. And then I can recognize that there's no value in that either. Leave me alone. And I'll leave you alone. And when we leave each other alone, then we can really meet each other. But as long as I'm reacting from fear, I'm never going to be able to meet you, because I got an image to present, and I have to make sure you like me, and I really want you to like me. You're strangers. What do I care if you like me? But it takes a while to look at that and go, when I'm at home putting on 4 different shirts before I come here to do my talk, I can laugh at myself and go, what are you doing? What's it matter? But until I looked, it mattered a great deal. It was very important that everything was pressed and I was set right and everybody had to like me. Oh, that's exhausting. Okay? So, how is it for me, which really takes you more inward? What's my experience? And if you're not ready for that and you want to stay up in your head, what is it in me? And again, you don't even need an answer. Asking the question slows down the process enough. Somebody got the time? 3:30. 3:30, that's all? Wow. What questions do you have? Does it make sense? You want to do more? I can go on and on. I can talk about anything. What questions do you have that you're not willing to ask? Anger.
Past anger specifically. So why is it, or how is it, that you can naturally, sometimes I would say things or do things, treat certain people that are the closest to me first. How do you stop that behavior?
Okay, so I'll rephrase the question. Let me know if I got it wrong so the people up front can hear it. So she gave the example of anger, and she said past anger, and how is it that the people that are closer to me I treat the worst, and how can I stop that? Is that about right? So let's first ask the question, can anyone relate to what she said about the people who are closer to me I treat the worst? Absolutely. And it touches on something that I write a lot about and I talk a lot about, because it was a huge shift for me when I looked at this.